Yeah. All right. I think
It
we've
says it's
got it
live.
now. It says it's live. It's not even showing up for me. You know.
It's not for me either, actually. Like, I have the window open.
Right. I can view
right
it on
now.
YouTube, and but
Yeah, like
yeah.
I'm on YouTube, but it's not showing anything yet. Oh, here we go.
There we
There
go.
we
Yeah,
go.
just a second.
There's a few seconds delay. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. No sound. There we go. All
Yeah,
right.
that's better.
Well, I'm not sure if we have anybody yet, but on the off chance we do, welcome. This is the second live stream I've yet to do. Man, yeah. So there were a couple of things that incentivized me to do it. There's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and I figured I may as well try out StreamYard, and in doing so, I'm able to have guests. So we have Katarina's garage here.
Hello.
And yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's something I haven't done yet, so I'm excited for it. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, no, we were just talking. It's cold. It's really cold out now.
Oh yeah. It's supposed to be nicer tomorrow though, so I'll give it that. Like
Degrees.
4 or -4, -4. So it's like, hey, it's better than -17 that it was today.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm okay with this, totally.
Well, that's a good thing, because I've got a road trip ahead of me. I'm going just under 3 hours 45 minutes, so just under 4 hours away from here, to go look at something, and I'm not quite sure. We'll see how this goes. I'm not quite sure if I want to let everybody know what it is yet, but all I'll say is there's potential for me to trade the LTD for something. And I honestly, I don't think really anybody would be opposed to it. I mean, the LTD.
Okay, so it's not any of the ones I know of then.
It is, I think. I did say it. I think I said it on Novitez's live stream.
Was it any of the ads you sent me or no?
Oh man, I don't even know. Probably. I think so. It was one of the red ones I sent you.
Does it happen to be the 4th American company, not the big 3?
Yep.
Okay,
Sure
yeah, then you did send it to me. So yeah. Yeah, okay. That's not releasing anything yet, other than just giving people a hint of company. Exactly. But other than that,
exactly. Yeah. Well, no, it's and I think people will they'll be holding onto this hope that they have that it's something cool. He's got some like one of the popular cars that they made, but I think I'm going to disappoint quite a few people with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely you will. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the vehicle, I think it's cool, but
yeah,
it is still not
a 4-door, and
yeah, it's still a 4-door, and the looks of it. Well, I mean, the back end looks nice. That's what I'll say about that car.
Honestly, I think conversely, I think the back end looks is good, not offensive. I actually like the front end. I like
it. I think you're the only one outside of the styling department that liked it. I swear, because they were not pretty.
Maybe so. Maybe. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I'm still excited. It'll be the most famous one on the internet. Like, I mean,
because it'll be the only one. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
tell me I'm wrong. You could probably, I'm not kidding, for the sedan variant of that, because the coupes, oh yeah, I'm sure there's videos on those, but the sedan, I doubt it. Like,
there's none.
It's such a niche. It's very much a niche.
That's the other. Actually, I don't even know if there are any on sedans. I saw. I mean, there's many on those coupes on the completely different looking ones.
Yeah, the completely different body.
And then there's here, let's see if I can do this here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments right now. There's a Carl Torque and a Cynthia Maxwell with us so far.
Right. Whoops.
They're nosing. Which she redacted her comment.
I believe. There we go. That. Whoops. What did I do here? Okay, no, I think we're still good, right? And that's the other thing I'm gonna just put out there. And you know, Carl, what do you? I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about there. I wonder if you know. Did I tell you? I feel like I may have told you what it
I'm assuming
was.
that's a friend of yours or something, or
Well, he's a subscriber of mine, but
oh, okay,
we've had some back and forth things with the Cadillac and stuff, and I got to have more Cadillac stuff up. I really do.
yeah,
Um,
oh yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure. Actually, this summer I'm going to be participating in a cruise. I believe it's from Crowfoot Truck Stop to I can't remember. Just
Angel's Diner.
might be. God, I'd have to
Yeah,
remember.
if it's part of the We Are the Classics, that's the one thing they do every week.
Every
So
week.
yeah, it's every it's Saturday or Sundays that they do it.
Oh, wow. In the summer
Like
or yeah,
in the summertime, yeah.
yeah.
They do it every single week. They go from the Blackfoot truck stop to Angel's
Black,
Diner.
Blackfoot Truck Stop.
Yeah,
God,
or well, the truck stop you mentioned, I'm pretty sure that's the one.
I have
Because yeah, it's
to.
just like whenever they start at a truck stop like that, it's like okay, that's We Are the Classics, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure you're part of that group too, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think so. I think I am here. Yes, I believe so. In fact, I'm just reading it now. No, that's not it. Is this it? No, I don't know. I can't. I can't think too hard. Today's been a long day, and I was curious how the live stream was going to end up going. Um, yeah, things were way more rushed than I would have liked, but you know what?
I
We're
figured it was gonna be. That's why I said we should probably do this at 5, not 4:30.
yeah, exactly.
Plus,
And
I was
yeah,
technically busy at 4:30, so that's.
well, that was a good decision in hindsight, that's for sure. Man, yeah, actually, my mom texted me while I was in school, and she said that her van wouldn't start, and that it's just completely dead. If you turn the key, nothing happens. So one of her friends came over and tried to boost it, and nothing. Still nothing happened. So I knew something was wrong, but the battery's brand spanking new, so I knew it wasn't that. But anyway, so it took me about 10 minutes. It was corrosion. That's it. That's all it was. I don't know
Oh,
why.
just on the leads themselves. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, on the side terminals, like those are really freaking annoying ones. They're buried in the fender, but um, you
Oh,
know,
side. Oh wait.
it's a GM. It's a GMC. So I mean, '05. So
Oh,
it's
okay. Yeah.
yeah, but it's yeah. So I got that fixed, and yeah, so that's good. But I guess my point was the cold is no good. Um,
My, my
man,
my car hates the cold. Something
oh,
severe. Like if I don't have my car plugged in, it takes me around 10 tries to finally start it.
10
And like
tries.
yeah, well, because it'll start and then die on you. Start, die, because it's
Yeah,
not warm enough.
yeah,
But
exactly.
also, I mean, that was a thing before I did, the whole carb swap and everything. But I know that's not going to help with cold starts. I already know that
Yeah,
because I deleted the nice warm air box that it had, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Which
that's true.
which I could just take my grinder and modify the old one to fit the new carburetor for the
Yeah,
wintertime, but
I guess so. Well, that's true. That would be. So you don't even do you even have a filter on that thing?
oh, no, I do. It's just a little chrome air filter, right?
Oh,
It's a
right.
Ford,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a Ford racing filter that
Right, right.
I got for free. It was kind of nice. I just had
Oh,
to pay for the actual filter itself, but
yeah.
the chrome part it was free. So
Well, yeah, that's nice. I guess. Well, you had to pay for the filter. I don't even remember what they cost. I haven't
they're
gotten a filter.
they don't cost hardly anything.
Well, you
Like
can't see
I didn't
through
get it.
any
I
of
didn't.
my.
It's well, it's not a K&N. It's or anything like that. It's just one from Napa. I think it was like $17. It's
Why would you get a Can-Am? You know.
because it's a lot better.
Well, I guess that's true, right. No, you have a Mustang, and I don't know. I can't possibly imagine myself ever getting anything other than a Fram. You know, I mean,
Well, the thing is, like, I'm not kidding though, because like even on your Cadillac too, K&N filters are actually, and even the off-brand Spectre stuff, which is pretty much a knockoff, but a good knockoff of a K&N.
Yeah.
That those style filters actually will increase performance and can also increase economy too.
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
Well,
and
it's been proven. It's not much,
oh yeah,
but it does
well,
make a difference.
and I don't doubt that. I bet it. In fact, yeah, that doesn't surprise me that it would. It's just it, I in my in my well, I guess my thought process would be that with the cars that I'm dealing with, the improvement would be so negligible, if anything. Like
Yeah.
the whole 5 miles a gallon kind of thing, going up to what, 5.3 miles a gallon.
Hey, the thing is, with the road trips you're planning, that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
You know,
actually, that's a good point. I
because
guess.
you're probably gonna put on as much miles, if not more, than I did last summer. Because I drove my
Yeah.
car everywhere last summer. I did, I think 6 different trips down to the Vulcan area.
Right.
I did, I think about 8 up to Edmonton, and then I took 2 down to Lethbridge. So quite a
Wow.
bit.
Well, man, yeah. I mean, I'm not even sure what's going to end up happening this summer. I mean, I'm not going to have. I'm pretty much 100% sure I'm not going to have the LTD after tomorrow. So, I mean, because I've been planning, well, planning trips, if you will.
Yeah.
I can't really commit to anything, but I kind of thought, that would be revolving around the LTD. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Eldorado would be. I don't know. I mean, I don't
Eldorado
know. I
would
don't
be
know
a
what that.
nicer cruiser compared to
Oh,
the LTD. Like the LTD is not a bad cruiser, don't get me wrong,
hmm.
but the Cadillac will be so much more comfortable in that
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, you'll get
How about
way
you?
worse fuel economy out of the deal, but
Yeah. Well, hey, gas smash. Nobody cares about gas anymore.
until I know you joke about that, but it'll be a realization to you when you start driving and like properly driving and paying for your own gas and everything when you realize, oh my God, this really stacks up very quickly.
You know
Like
what? I agree, and I also disagree because I just pumped gas today, and I mean I mean the best
because
thing to be able to do. I saw something. All I want in life is to be rich enough to stare off into the distance while I pump gas.
I was that for parts of the summer after I sold my Mustang.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
when I did that, I had $2,700 in my bank account. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Like I that's what afforded me to be able to do everything I wanted this summer.
Yeah.
And now I'm just broke again, so that it didn't last.
Hey.
It lasted till about August is when I finally depleted that entirely. But
Well,
and I
I
sold
mean,
it back in, I think I sold it in like April or May, so it lasted a little bit.
yeah. Well, that's not, and also considering I'm 15 and you're an adult, you have expenses, you have insurance, you have gas that you have to pay for. You have, I've got none of that, so I'm pretty damn lucky. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, my bills
well,
aren't that expensive though, mind you, but I don't really get a lot of money either, so there's a
you know,
contrast that way. Like, and I mean, and right now I owe quite a bit of money on my credit card. It's not bad. Like, I could pay it back. I sell a few more vehicles, I could pay that back. Totally easy, but
right.
it's still, I mean, it's nearly $1,000 on my credit card. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to work for my credit. Um, oh, sorry. Hang on. I want to make sure this is working. Yeah. Okay. It is. There we go. Dinosaurs die for Cadillacs. Yeah. You bet they did. Oh, Jesus.
I was just waiting for you to see that.
Oh man. Yeah. Man, I don't know if I would try a burnout in that thing. I don't know.
I mean, they can do it. I know they can. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah, it's because they have the torque, and torque is what makes you do a burnout. You don't need horsepower to do it.
Right. And
Um,
yeah,
and
3,000 RPM red line in that thing.
oh no, I think they're
I don't actually know what they are. I mean, probably under 5, but
Yeah, I'd say probably around 45-ish is my guess.
Well, yeah, my
And
guess.
it's not, and compared to most engines, it's not as linear of a curve. It's just like, okay, you can get there like pretty sort of quick, and then it just stops all of a sudden. And like, okay, cool. This is where the valve float is, but that's just how those engines are. Compared
Yeah,
to most engines where, it's kind of slower to go up the rev range, those
yeah,
caddies aren't. They
yeah.
and plus they're one of the smoothest engines on the planet too. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah, oh
well, and like your little, I mean, you're little. It's not exactly little. Your
yeah,
500 in your caddy is
yeah.
damn near as smooth as my inline six, and that just blows my mind that Cadillac was able to do that.
Yeah, well, because V8s are they're pretty imbalanced,
Oh yeah, they're
and
inherently imbalanced. Like
yeah,
the
like that's
only
just the nature of the
properly balanced motors are inline sixes and especially inline eights.
inline
Um,
eights are great.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I have a harmonic balancer on my car, but it's like that big. It's like
yeah,
nothing, right?
yeah.
The harmonic balancer on your caddy is probably about that, and then plus there's probably a counterweight on the back of the motor too.
Oh yeah, I'm certain there is. There would have to be. There would have to be. I mean, yeah. I mean that engine. I love that thing. The one thing I wish it did have an AOD trans in it. Like I really, really do. And I've actually been talking, even with my uncle, and I could pull one out of a later Tornado or Eldorado, and it should bolt in there. But
It was what I would do instead, just to keep everything, because that's a numbers matching vehicle.
yeah,
And because of that, what you could do, it costs a little more money, but I'm sure that they make bolt-on systems. I know it's front-wheel drive, so it's a little more complicated,
mhm.
but I'm sure Gear Vendors makes an overdrive that'll fit that. And what's cool about the Gear Vendors overdrives is, okay, so right now you only have a 3-speed, but with the Gear Vendors overdrive, what you can do is, okay, you go into first, you rev it out, and just before you would shift, you could actually flip on the overdrive. Okay, then rev it out again, then change it into second, rev it out. So essentially, you've got 6 gears instead of 3.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've seen
Yeah,
that. Right.
yeah.
Well, I
I just
wonder.
I just don't know, being that it's the front wheel drive application, if
Yeah,
they make one or not. I'm sure they do, and that they're just electronic, right? You bolt it on to the back of your transmission, on
yeah.
the tail shaft.
Well, like where the tail shaft would be.
Yeah,
I just, the tail shaft is like a differential on that
yeah,
thing.
exactly. So that's why I'm like, I'm not sure, but like the thing is, but instead of it being like all the way out, it bolts onto the side of them typically, right? So
Yeah.
realistically, you're only adding about that much onto the end of it, and then it's just beside it. So it's, again, I'm not sure. You'd have to
Yeah,
look
yeah,
into it.
I'd look into it because I mean, I don't know. I'm all for numbers matching, so I
Yeah,
don't know if I
exactly.
can
And
afford
and
that.
doing that, that's all reversible if you decide in the future to sell it, and you can still keep it numbers matching that way, right? I
Yeah,
don't imagine you'd sell it, but there's a possibility everybody sells something, right? So it's
yeah,
always that.
I'm gonna say that possibility is about a 0.9% chance.
Hey, it's no
If that
different
makes
than my Mustang, so
yeah.
it's
Well, yeah, but I mean that Cadillac. I mean, me and my dad bought that in 2013. In case any of you don't know the story, me and my dad basically, long story short, bought it back in 2013. Had two different blowouts in that thing, um, and yeah, no, I mean, we bought it in Cranbrook, BC, drove it back, and it was pitched to us as this perfect car that had always been stored inside. You can still see a reflection in the paint, and it is just a perfect car. That's how it was pitched to us, and it ran beautifully, and you could see a reflection in the paint. And that car is a pretty good looking car. So the whole time, my dad was just like, taking in all of its beauty, and he didn't really look around at all the little nitpicky things, as maybe I would have if I were older. But anyway, so well, I don't know how much he paid for it. It was like I don't know. It was under 5 6 grand. It wasn't like now that thing would be worth in the private market closer to $7,000, maybe 8, especially in spring fever, 8, 9. But and it's not in great shape, but there's been such a boom for them, and the market is kind of insane.
Well, actually, your car is in really good shape. Just the only thing I'd be concerned about with it is what's hiding underneath the Bondo, because you could see it cracking and everything. It's bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, because you're planning on painting the thing eventually, which it's not going to be a cheap proposition, even if you do it yourself.
Yeah.
But and just seeing, and and it'll be a cool sort of experience for you as well to do that, but then also really good content too, because like when I started to, because I did YouTube shorts on sanding away the Bondo on my car.
Yeah.
And because I didn't realize there was actually Bondo on my car until I started sanding away at it, going, oh, they hit it very well. Yeah. Well, I knew there was bodywork done to the car. You could tell there was at least 2 separate owners of that car, for sure, that did bodywork. One knew what they were doing, and they were great at it. The other guy, no. And there was a good, I don't know, close to a ½ inch of Bondo on my, on the quarter, and just to the lower part of it.
So that guy was the guy who was not very good at it.
No, you know what was so stupid is I said it all away. It's like, there's not even a dent here. Like, what are you covering up? Then I noticed when I started to take the screwdriver and chisel it out on, because it's actually, once you get to that point, it's easier just to chisel it out with a screwdriver or a chisel if you actually have one.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing that, and actually on the other side of it, there's a hole about that big. So he used ½ an inch of Bondo for the entire lower quarter, just to cover a hole that big. Like,
I don't know why people do that.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
What's the point of this? It was so dumb. But whoever painted it though did a damn good job matching it.
Man,
because that car had never been painted before, other than that one spot.
Well, maybe that guy was more of a painter than an auto body guy. Who knows?
And bodywork isn't that hard. Paint is actually harder than bodywork.
Honestly, yeah. Well, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. In fact, I don't even know what I'm going to end up doing with this Cadillac. I mean, underneath that Bondo that's about that thick is dents. That thing's been in a front end collision before, and I mean the driver's side is a little wonky, and the passenger side is perfect. The passenger side is in great shape. All the gaps line up, and the driver's side has seen a little bit of use, but I mean that hood. The hood is unbolted right now. I mean, it's the bolts are still in, but it's all loose. And I was trying to realign it the other night, and I mean, the hinges are bent. The fender needs to be aligned, and I wouldn't be surprised if the hood maybe has a little tweak in it somewhere like that. That thing is going to take a lot of work to get. I mean, to get back to gaps lining up. And
good chance, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, we'll see what ends up happening, but man, I'm gonna daily drive that thing in the summer for a month or two. Just, I mean, if I don't, it'll never get driven, and I think I'm willing to eat that fuel economy penalty. I think I'm willing to do that.
You say that now. It's like, trust me, you will. Once you start actually driving it, like properly driving it, you will change your tune. I just know you will a little bit. You'll be like, oh man, I really want to drive this car, but and that's what I kind of did to a certain extent. Like, both of my cars got the same about fuel economy, so it really didn't matter which one I drove at the time when I still had my convertible. I just enjoyed the convertible more because it's a convertible. It's fun. And it was even slower than Stitch, actually, which is pretty funny. But, well, okay, yeah. It had a approximately 30 or 40 horsepower more and about 40 foot-pounds of torque more, but it weighed an extra 300 pounds. So it kind of negated that.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, that's surprising to me. And the convertible was an 86, right?
Yeah, 86.
Yeah, 86. And I would think that 3.8 liter would have been. I don't know. I thought that would have been faster. Man,
Because you're thinking of the sequential fuel injection 3.8s that existed after 94. That's what you're probably thinking of.
well, was that 3.8 carbureted? It was, right? Or
No,
was it
this was CFI.
Oh, CFI. Okay.
Yeah, which was an awful system. Which is funny. You put a carburetor on it, it not only gets better fuel economy, but it also gets more performance too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Which is like, this is supposed to be fuel injected. Should be better, but it wasn't. It was just awful.
well, that's when they were figuring it out, and man, yeah, the
Well, see,
80s.
it's funny because Chevrolet figured it out with the TBI.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't a terrible injection system. Like, did it have its quirks or whatever? Yes, it did, but
Yeah.
it didn't break, like, ever, really. It never really had any issues. And that was the thing with GM, though. They had, back then anyways, they had stringent rules with putting out engines and transmissions and stuff where they had to torture test the things before it was put into a car.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
No.
And it shows.
Yeah. It shows it started. Yeah. No, it didn't start. It started long before that, but it shows when they put a 4-cylinder in a Silverado and say it gets the best fuel economy in the game. But if you go up a 2% gradient, you're screwed. I mean, it's interesting. Like, you can use it as a Honda Fit if you'd like. By all means, just don't put any sand in the back. Don't put work boots in the back seat, or it's changed. It's
yeah. And I don't understand putting a 4-cylinder in a full-size truck. Like, to me, just from a wear standpoint, because obviously, like, when you have more of a combustion area when you're working, it actually helps because it dissipates the heat and stuff like that better. That's why they put V8s and big inline sixes in trucks. So to put a small little 4-cylinder in it, it just doesn't make as much sense to me.
doesn't.
Now, obviously, you're not really going to use that as much for, hey, I'm going to haul 10,000 pounds. Well, no, you're, it's, you're lucky to be hauling half that at that point. It's,
Man,
and it's just, yeah, well, it's like when Ford came out with the EcoBoosts in the trucks, back in, what was that, 2011, I think it was?
Well, I think that's when they came out with the 3.5, or 3.5s.
Yeah, it was a 3.5, and then they've gone down to like a 2.7.
They have a 2.7 now. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little later.
But the 3.5s, great engines. The only problem was the turbos. They would blow up at about 100,000 kilometers, just every time. As soon as they hit 100K, it's just a ticking time bomb of, okay, when are these gonna blow up?
Yeah.
And you can get aftermarket turbos to compensate for that are way better, that'll last. But the stock turbos just didn't. It was kind of sad.
Well, and to me, it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, I see why they did the 4-cylinder thing. They did that in my best guess. My gut tells me that it's mostly an environmental government kind of regulations standpoint, and kind of you can market it as being a small engine that's great on gas and super efficient and just as capable. I'm sure they probably said that, but the thing is, I mean, with the 3.5s, they are great engines while they work, and like you said, their turbos go. But even then, even if the turbos never went, let's say they were super strong, you're still forcing all that extra air, that forced induction into it's just way more wear on a smaller engine that just doesn't need it. If you add 2 more cylinders and a larger displacement, and it can just, like my Cadillac, that'll work all day, just like a diesel. It'll work all day long.
Wait, well, like my engine, because I mean, I've researched it to figure out, okay, what are the breaking points of my engine? Because I'm wanting to build it out and see, okay, how far can I build it out before it's just completely toast without touching the internals? Yeah. And what I found out, you can still have it reliable if you do 10 pounds or under of boost or 300 horsepower, because that'll break the connecting rods. Either way, whichever one you hit first will break the connecting rods.
Wow.
So basically, like my idea for my build, is like around 260-ish horsepower, around 7-8 pounds of boost, something like that. You know, which will be fine for my little inline six, and still love it. Like, and those things respond very well to boost. They love it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know. I mean,
well,
I don't know anything about the 200 inline six other than what you told me because I didn't even know they put them in Mustangs until I met you and you showed me, hey, this thing's got an inline six. I had no idea.
yeah. Actually,
So,
it's funny. The Fox body community doesn't realize it either. Like, it's hilarious. I've had so many comments to say they never put that in there. I take a picture of it with the the matching tags and everything,
yeah.
and take a picture of my door
Mhm.
tag and go, really? They never was put in here, huh?
Hmm.
Like, it's just funny because I can take the buck tags, which are still on the front. They're not actually on the fender for some reason. They're on the front core support.
Yeah,
On
right.
mine. But
Yeah.
what's weird is like they're not bolted up properly. It's one little bolt in it, and then there's like 5 tags for some reason. I don't understand what was up with that. It's like, why didn't you just put one tag on the fender and be done with it? It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
well, I mean, the Cadillac's got it. Oh, the Monaco had it on its core support. I remember two different ones. And
Yeah,
one of them
it,
was
it did.
yeah.
But mine
Oh
has
yeah,
5, which is
fine.
dumb.
That's funny. Oh
Yeah,
well, yeah.
I don't know what Ford was thinking, but just like, okay, cool. Um, and yeah, and it's like, and I teach so many different people about the Fox bodies that know about Fox bodies, and they're like, oh yeah, they're diehard enthusiasts. No, you're diehard enthusiasts to the V8 Fox body. That's it. That's all you know. And even some of those don't even realize, hey, the 302 wasn't always in the Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like even outside of the Mustang too, because technically for it was 2 or 3 years of the Mustang too, you can get a V8. It was the 4-cylinder or the 2.8 V6 only. Um, like that's why they actually say, because 74 is when the Mustang 2 came out. They say that that's the worst year for the Mustang ever because it did not come with a V8.
Wow, 74.
Yep.
That's surprising to me. I mean, I remember the first time I saw a 70s Mustang, and I was kind of appalled. I wonder if I'm going to be crucified for that. But I mean, I was like looking at it, thinking like, no, that's got to be some sort of a Dodge Shadow. Like I had no, I didn't know what I was looking at, and I was actually I think I was probably 10 years old. Like it took me a while to actually see a '70s Mustang, early '70s, and man, I just didn't like what I saw.
Well,
So
the thing is, because with Mustangs, there's always polarizing opinions when it comes to the 70s ones. Because 71 to 73, I love them.
yeah,
And they're starting to grow on a lot of other people, and they're starting to have their prices rise.
yeah,
And then there's the Mustang too, where like, and a lot of people liked the 71 to 73, but it wasn't say as cool to them as like a 69 or a 70.
not even close.
But then if you look at the Mustang 2, you
Yeah,
either loved it or you absolutely appalled it. There was nothing in between.
yeah, exactly.
So, and that's still a thing nowadays. And oh, you
When
got
did
a question in the chat.
the oh yeah, oh I did. Brand new aluminum radiator. I got a one core. It's a single core radiator, but it's like I think it's 1.25 inch. So it's a good one. But yeah, no, it'll be nice when I can kind of. I mean the unnamed car I'm going to see tomorrow. It needs a core support. So or I mean a heater core. So um, I don't know. I'm thinking I'll have to get that record, but yeah. But I think you've got a question there too.
Yeah, I just noticed that. So there's a lot of plans with my Mustang. Because right now it is. I've done some mods to it, but nothing too major yet. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, I put a double roller timing chain in it, and I've done that the 2-barrel carb adapter setup in it. That's all of the mods, and well, plus also a new uh Super SL coil as well. But I want to put a 5-speed in it Like a T5 most likely because they just bolt right in. They're nice and cheap. You know, I do want to put an 8.8 in it with probably either 355 or 373 rear gears. I'm getting actually right now metal louvers made for the rear windows because I have plastic ones, but they're just brittle. I don't really trust them to last too long. Inside actually, because all the red in the interior is going away. That is going to go to actually. I have a out at my buddy Greg's place. I just need to buy the car off him, which won't cost me very much at all, and I'll probably make my money back just parting it out anyways. I want to take the seats out of it, put it into my car, which they are out of a '84 Shelby Charger. They're nice and like back then, sporty seats were quite comfortable, but they still had the bolstering on them. So, you know, it will hold you a little bit more in the turns. And yeah, and these ones are actually Shelby seats. So, you know, they're gray on, I think they're supposed to be gray on blue, but they're gray on purple. So they need some reconditioning that way. But other than that, you know, it's yeah.
Right.
You know, plus I want to put the turbo on that too, which like I have a turbo sitting right next to me, which don't know if I'm going to use this or go to a different turbo. We'll see.
Yeah.
Just depends.
Well, I was wondering, man, I would be kind of surprised if you would use that one sitting beside you. I don't know. That was sorry. What's that off of? For some reason, I keep thinking Volvo. It's not.
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen. Jesus.
Yeah, because this little turbo, because I will show your peoples here because you've seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a Ihi As12 Turbo. They put these on diesels. Like you'll see them a lot of time on like Jetta TDIs and stuff like that, Passats. Also like small Perkins diesels and the like as well.
Yeah.
Now this one, the only thing that's missing is a blow-off valve. Other than that, it has everything else. But
Oh, it doesn't have a blow valve on it. Oh, I thought it did.
no, it's been removed. You can see where it's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
Still the gasket there, but
yeah. that's handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably won't reuse that gasket if I use this though. I'll get a new gasket.
Well, at least you have the stencil. You can trace it out of a cereal box and perfect.
Yeah, oh exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, although for that you want a metal gasket for that. It's just one of those deals. Well, it's if you have a leak through there, you're gonna make no boost.
Well,
it's just gonna, or at least you'll have a boost leak. Anyways,
think about how much it would cost for a metal gasket this big when I could go and cut a piece of the Cheerios box off and put that on. I don't know. It's the
that gasket is probably about $20, or I could also, I know enough people where I can get that made for free. They don't care something that big.
Well,
you know,
man, I was actually joking about that, but $20 is more than I thought it would be. Man,
that's not an expensive gasket at all.
Man, Jesus, I've been living under a rock. I have never done any, like, honestly, that's kind of my thing, is just the big old land yachts.
Well,
man, okay.
Go price out performance parts for stuff, right? No. Then you'll begin to realize, you know, how expensive stuff gets. Because like, you know, and especially because you do what I do typically is Rock Auto, and Rock Auto is fantastic, honestly.
Yeah,
you know, nice and cheap, delivers to your door within the week typically, and you know you're pretty good, and the prices are very fair. Like my car was rebuilt off of Rock Auto, damn near Rock Auto at Napa, and now we're slowly getting the Rock Auto stuff out of it because some of the Rock Auto stuff was not great when I put it in, but it made it pass its inspection at the time, and I didn't have a lot of money then.
Yeah.
So
usually what I do with Rock Auto is, I mean, that's where I can actually find parts, because I can never find it. Like if I called Part Source for, you know, the brake booster for the Monaco was such a hard thing to find, and I actually looked on Rock Auto once and I thought I didn't see it there, so I was thinking, oh crap, well now I'm SOL. But I called everywhere. I called Mopac, it was JB Power Center, World Pack, which I had to learn was a a wholesale distributor. The parts store told me to call them, and I did, and they said, no, we're not selling to you. And yeah, nobody had it. Nobody had it. I think actually no, I think Mopac could find one for like $900, and I was just like, I was like, I was very discouraged. But then I went back on Rock Auto, and sure enough, there were brake boosters, and but I think they called it Power Brake Booster, and I was looking under B and S for brake booster or brake servo, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, actually, like, and at times, because like at times you can get burned on Rock Auto, because I've been burned I think twice on Rock Auto, but other than that, oh hey Bryce, how's it going? One guy I know in here from elsewhere. Because actually, I'll grab them because they're just sitting over there. I haven't thrown them out yet. Give it a second.
Sounds like me. I haven't thrown them out.
They're not in there. Okay, I don't know where I put them. I have the box, but that doesn't count. So, like, these are Borg Warner spark plug leads, right?
Borg Warner. Wow.
Yeah, they can make them. And the thing is, these were actually for the Civic. Now, the problem was these were like new old stock on clearance that had been sitting for I don't even know how long. Because you can see some of the aging on like, well, take a look at the aging on the stickers if you can see that. Like the one sticker is just like damn near gone, right? So yeah, and then sometimes they'll give you wrong parts, and even the cap and the cap that they sent me was completely wrong for the Civic. It didn't fit. And these wires were so old that they were starting to corrode themselves. Like the rubber itself was just like degrading, I should say. And yeah, just like, okay, totally unusable plug wires. Thank God they were only, I think they were $10, like on clearance. But so you got to be careful when stuff is on clearance on Rock Auto, because you can't get your money back if it's clearance.
Well, usually I mean, if I'm on Rock Auto, I never ever I don't think I've ever done it ever buy the cheapest option. Like the cheapest option, for example, with the radiator and the LTD was some thing with plastic side tanks, and I wasn't about to do that. I tend to buy. I mean, I don't know. It's like almost. I don't know. I'm at such a loss of words today, but it's not a pet peeve, but it's one of those things that I do. I buy quality. It's just one of the things that I do because I would much rather buy expensive once and have it last, and that whole philosophy. But yeah, I mean, I did have them send me the wrong parts one time, and I ordered. It was $30 worth of spark plugs for the LTD, and they sent me 8 ignition coils for the Ford model, whole Ford lineup of Tritons for the 5.4 Tritons and there were V6s and it was like $400 worth of coils they sent me, and I paid $37 for them. So that's one time I lucked out, and they were legit. They were genuine parts, and I lucked out, and so I guess I'm inclined to keep shopping through Rock Auto. We'll see. Now that I've said that.
Like the thing is, I'll still shop through Rock Auto, but typically now, anything that I get, the quality on Rock Auto won't be enough for me for what I'm doing. Like everything, and like, well, for example, when I did that timing chain, yeah, okay, I could get a timing chain from Rock Auto for it was $40, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a standard old timing chain, nothing special.
Yeah.
But then I went to Clay Smith Cams and ordered the double roller timing chain, which actually I can do the valve timing off of that plus or minus 4 degrees. So that's cool, which when I get a cam for it, me and Roy are going to go through like how to degree a cam, right? Yeah. And with that setup, we can do that, which is cool. So that whole setup cost me, it was, I think, $240. So, which expensive, but worth it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It depends what you want. I mean, with the stuff that I do, I was actually thinking about it the other day. Rock Auto is more of a stock replace. It's more replacing something that's gone wrong. Whereas
Exactly, yeah.
like, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not going there to buy a to cam a car. I'm not going there to buy a some sort of Summit Racing camshaft through Rock Auto. I'm going to Summit Racing. That's it's just it's how it goes. I'm not gonna. I don't really buy. I did buy a double roller set from Rock. They've got little stuff like that, but you know.
Yeah, that was a fun day actually, Bryce. Because I don't know if you pay much attention to Roy Markle's channel or not. Like if you're subscribed, but yeah, because he came down here, and we were messing around with my carb a little bit because I had a catastrophe with my carb. It wasn't that bad, but the seat was not properly. Well, the needle wasn't seated properly, and the float wasn't set, so it was just flooding the carb like crazy, and it was just gushing out everywhere. And too bad I didn't get it on video because it would have been a fantastic fail video. I had the top of the carburetor off because those auto lights are one of the few carburetors on the planet you can take the top of the carburetor off and run the car. It's so cool that way. And basically, so I did that, and I was running the car and didn't realize this is like I'm spilling a lot of fuel. Like I shouldn't be spilling it this much. And I shut the car off. I look out in front, or actually, I didn't shut the car off. I went around in front of the car and look, and there was so much fuel pressure because it wasn't, again, needle wasn't seated properly. It shot up and hit the hood. It was fantastic, honestly. Like, I wish I got that on video, but oh well.
I think I had I saw that video, but yeah. Well, yeah, I remember, man. I have that same carburetor, and I didn't even know that you could run it with the top off.
Wait, yeah, you'd have it on your LTD.
Yeah, I do. I have two of those.
Yeah, things. Yeah, like honestly, if you wanted to, before you go on your little trip, just take the top, like film it. Just take the top of the carburetor off really quick because it's 6 screws. It comes right off.
Yeah.
Well, and then you can go like, hey, look, you can run the top of the carburetor off, and you can do a video similar to what Roy did, explaining how it works, right? Because he did that once. And it's cool. And he just did it as a YouTube short. It was, in 60 seconds, he just explained what everything's doing at the time that you could see from there. Obviously, you take the carburetor apart, there's a lot more involved than just that, but you get the idea. And it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where exactly was the fuel? Was it just coming out of the inlet, like the fuel that shot up and hit the hood? Like,
yeah, where the needle would be seated, coming straight in there.
Oh, straight out of there. Oh wow.
Yep.
Jesus.
And yeah, and like right now, and I think it's because the needle that I got in my rebuild kit, because like it's funny, because when I took the carburetor apart, because I was changing out the jets, and I accidentally dropped the needle inside my fender, and I couldn't find it. Like it was just missing. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I order a rebuild kit from Napa here in town. Just like, oh yeah, actually we have one in stock. Okay, cool. I went, got it, brought it back. I open it up. What the hell? There's no needle in here. Weird. Okay, so I call, and I talk to my buddy Cody, who works there, and he's like, oh, okay, well, if it's not in there, no worries, we can just exchange it for another one, no big deal. I like, okay, cool. I get the next one. Hey, look, there's 2 needles in there. So I've got an extra one if I need it, but wow. Too funny. Like, and obviously that's a manufacturing error. That's not on Napa. It happens.
Yeah, well, that's not good.
I wasn't too upset about it. I was just mildly annoyed.
Yeah. That's what happens. Like when they put they accidentally put the brownie in the corn on the Hungry Man's TV dinners. It's an assembly line issue. That's how I would see that. Exactly the same.
Wow, you're up to 7 people watching right now.
Yeah, man, I am surprised at how well that's doing. How's it going, Michelle? Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that has tuned into this thing. I had hoped that we could go over some of the ideas I had, and I did. I ran through that pretty quick, actually. But what's behind me? That right there is a miter saw, and this right here is a table saw, and
That's a
shelves,
miter.
and all of this
From,
is just mess.
yeah, I was gonna say from this angle that does not look like a miter saw. I thought that was a piece of exercising equipment.
No, no, absolutely not. Never, ever would I ever exercise. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it's folded up. But yeah, so I can cut a hole in the hood of the LTD and put a 2-liter blower on it. Yeah.
That'd be dope if you actually did that.
I would, if anything. I mean, it's actually something that I would love to do. Is put. I think I've never said this. I don't think I've ever said this like on my YouTube channel. I've told people independently, but what I'd like to do is, I mean, obviously, actually, and for any of you that that had missed it, that are just tuning in, I am going tomorrow. I've got just under a 4-hour road trip ahead of me. I'm going to look at trading the LTD for something pretty darn cool. And Kat and I were talking about it's the fourth one out of the big three. Out of the American car companies, it's interesting, and that's really all that I've shared about it so far. So it's going to be cool. So you should stay tuned for that. But anyway, yeah. I mean, this is something that I've always thought was cool to do with the LTD because it's such an old man car. It's such like a land yacht. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will. You betcha. These are fun. But yeah, anyway, the LTD. I would love to keep the outside completely stock, like same tires, same wheels, but put a 9-inch diff in it and put I don't know, some sort of beefed up C6 trans. I don't know what I would do transmission wise. I really don't have a clear idea, but just put a 2-liter blower, completely redo the 351 Windsor in it. And people get so pissed off when I tell them that. Like I tell them, oh, I would rebuild the 351, and no, they tell me to LS swap it or put in a 302 or something. They get so bent out of shape. I don't know why.
That is so dumb to say. Okay, nobody on the planet is going to swap a 351 for a 302. I'm sorry. 351 is going to hold more power. They just do. It's a different block.
It's an entirely it's better.
Like the thing is, a 302, the later 302s that were in the Fox bodies, that sort of generation of them, they would only hold about 500 horsepower, then the block would crack. But your 351 Windsor can hold about 700 before that block's going to crack. So that is so much better. Like, why not go with that? Like, I can understand if you're trying to put one into a Fox body, it's kind of a pain in the rear due to they're just a little taller, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and with that extra height in a Fox body, yeah, you have to clearance the hood. You just do. Either that or you do weird custom mounts for your motor mounts, but that puts the oil pan kind of low. So it's like, yeah, you're better off cutting a hole in your hood. It's just how, and I've seen it a lot. Like with the cool part is like if, cause there's a picture that's around the internet, of a Eaton M90 supercharger on my motor with the carburetor just mocked on top of it and a air cleaner on it, but it wasn't exactly wasn't legit, but just like that would have been cool because anybody would have noticed that that's if you look really closely at it, there's no belt on there.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That was amazing. But no, LS swapping. I am not into the whole LS swapping thing. I am just not. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not. Honestly, I have a weird taste in cars. A lot. I mean, people that have followed me long enough will know. I'm not really into the turbocharging and the whole the JDM thing. And in fact, dare I say this while I'm live on YouTube, I'm not really a fan of JDM. Like,
And you're
I mean,
and that's fine though. Like here's the thing: when there are certain niches that people have, and yours, is more niche than anybody I know. To be honest,
4-door gas guzzlers, and I'm proud of that. That's
well, like it's interesting with you because the thing you care about more than anything else, which is not a bad thing, honestly, it's wonderful, is you want comfort. That's it. You like your comfort. Doesn't matter the rest of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, you do care about styling a little bit, but I don't think it's your main concern compared to most people where, hey, I want this to be the best it can look. So, you know, like your LTD as a two-door, like they actually look really sweet as a two-door. I've seen a few of them around, but
you look cooler, especially.
they do. Like there was one for sale. And it keeps popping up, and then they take the ad down constantly.
Is it black?
It may have been. It's only $2,500. It's not expensive. Like
that's the one I think.
Yeah, and it's just like I can't remember the ad or anything like that, or like how bad a condition it was or anything like that. But it's like that just looks cool as a two-door. But,
especially in black.
Yeah. And you know, and the thing is, and the only reason why you LS swap anything as opposed to a Coyote swap is an LS will cost you a lot less than a Coyote. Even crate motor wise, it'll still cost you less in the end to get stupid amounts of power out of it.
I did not. I would have thought the opposite. That is news to me. I would have thought.
Well, the thing is, okay, in LS, even if you go with a crate motor, okay, crate LSs are, you can get the base like 5.3 crate LS for about $5,000. They're not expensive, you know. Comparatively, a Coyote is about $8,000 to $10,000. So they've also made a lot more LSs, and you don't necessarily have to buy a crate motor. You could pull an LS from the junkyard out of a truck, boost it to 30 pounds of boost, and actually be reliable. It's, you know, you can have all in maybe about $1,500 into your build doing it that way, right? That's why the LS is so popular. It's because you could just, you know, push out so much power for so cheap. So I get it, but it's not my thing.
Yeah, no, power isn't really my thing. You know, it's too high strung. I drove my uncle's Mustang, and that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I mean, that Coyote.
Although I found it funny that you said daily driver supercar. I'm going, that's not a supercar.
No, did I? Well,
you did say that.
Actually, okay. You know what? That is. I'm officially saying this on the record. That's my least favorite video on my entire YouTube channel. Just because of the way I did it. I love the car. And I would have done it differently, and I wish I did. And I might actually do it, but honestly, I don't know if the market is there for it. But we'll see. I mean, I just wish I had done the video. That was atypical for me, and I mean, I guess my whole kind of clickbaity punchline was it's a bargain supercar because in my mind at the time it was so amazingly surprising just how fast it was. And like it was. I was expecting it to be zippy, and it was full on. Felt like I was driving a supercar, and man, I was surprised. So I was kind of thinking, bargain supercar gets you a lot for the money, and my uncle daily drives it. So I was thinking, hey, you can daily drive it.
They are because I've driven one too. The only difference is the one you drove was a manual. The one I drove was an automatic. Other than that,
probably faster than the one I drove.
The thing is, that car I drove to, I only got it up to 160 kilometers an hour and then backed off. Just because, like, okay, he's not beside me. He's not, or in a car behind me or anything like that. I'm just by myself, and I'm like, I'll just take this one a little easier. Like, I had fun. Like, I was just like, okay, I expect it to be fast, and like I pin it. Because I didn't have it in any of the track modes. It took a second, and then it was just like, it's like, oh my god, woo! It was a ton of fun, and it's super comfortable. At least that one is. Being the California Special.
Well, that was a California Special. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, it's GT California Special. So I had the Coyote with the 10-speed in it. And yeah, like it. And what's really nice is that it's got cooled seats. So it's like, ooh, that's nice.
Mustang, nice. Wow. Honestly,
Yeah, that's
if I were to do it, that's the way I would do it. Like if it's gonna be a car like that, that's a Mustang. It would be the one that's the full on GT premium performance package, California Special, if you will. A lot of people think that stands for Carroll Shelby, apparently. But anyway,
wait,
it would
who
have cool
thinks that
seats.
that stands for
A
Cal
lot
Shelby?
of people, they say the CS on the side. I was actually watching my favorite YouTuber's video the other day. He was just doing a Copart walk around, and yeah, a lot of people think that's Carroll Shelby. I've seen people,
Oh.
walking through the club. They're like, "Oh my God, look, it's a Carroll Shelby Mustang." No, it's not.
Well, see, well, what I would love to do, and just to kind of troll Cody a little bit,
Yeah,
is either somehow afford one or get my YouTube big enough to where I could borrow one, an original California special from the 60s, right? Because that's
no,
a proper California special. You know,
exactly.
the new ones, don't get me wrong, they are different, but
Yeah,
they
well,
don't seem different enough to have
exactly.
that
It
moniker
seems
on
to
them.
me that it's just like an appearance package at this point, which
Well,
that's gonna
the
get no one.
original one was too. Like,
Yeah,
um, because they
but
put the Thunderbird tail lights in it, and then they put some of the Shelby stuff on it, but that's all they did. And I think they had California Special in the seats embroidered. That was
yeah,
literally it, right?
yeah,
And the only reason why they actually built California Special Mustangs back in the day was because California sold the most Mustangs every year, so they decided to do the special commemorative edition, and they've gone on and off of releasing it, and
yeah,
there's even some
yeah,
years like of the newer ones, since they reintroduced the California Special with the S5 or S197 Mustangs. I think they started in like 2007, 2008, somewhere in there
yeah,
to
yeah,
build them again.
yeah.
But every couple of years they'll like skip a year and then, you know,
Yeah.
keep building them again. It's
They're
so weird. I
very
don't know why.
touchy-feely with that. I don't know why, but
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
you know, and California Specials, like you'll see them every now and then, but they actually are kind of rare to find around.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
the new ones.
Well, my one of my dad's best friends has a California Special, and it's his dream car. He's got he's a character. He's he's a great guy, but that you can get some context just from that. Um, that is the most important. I don't want to say most important thing in his life, but it's damn near close. Like someone looks at it too hard, he just he gets enraged with it. Like he would not ever drive it in the rain. He would like it's in heated storage year round. Special occasions, he loves driving it, but he's done lots of work with the gears and like in the transmission and differential. I mean, I think he put um, I don't remember what he said, but I think it was closer to the 442 whatever. Like it was below 410, but that thing could peel. I'm pretty sure. I think that's what he told me. Again, I don't know. I don't remember. But either way, that's his baby. That car is not going in. He would never. His other dream car is an Aston Martin, and he would not trade it. It's like this and an Aston Martin, sure, but he's not. He would never trade that car.
Which Aston Martin does he like? Because bear in mind, there's been a lot of those.
It's some weird Aston Martin. I don't care about Aston Martin. So they're
There's only one weird Aston Martin out there. Actually, no, sorry. There's two weird Aston Martins out there, I'll say.
yeah.
Because there's the Aston Martin Signet, which is a Scion IQ, but with like an Aston grill on it. It's hilarious.
No,
If you look it up.
I'm gonna do that right now. I've
Yeah,
never heard of that.
yeah, and Signet's spelled with a C, not an S.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one is the Lagonda back in the 70s.
I remember. I love the Lagana. I do.
It's a weird looking car. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's weird. So
Doug Miller called him Anteater, and I
yeah,
concur.
I could see that.
Yeah. Sorry, what was it called? Six. Oh, right. No, no. Yes.
Signet.
Got it.
Yeah,
No
see,
way.
yeah,
No.
look,
Oh, I'm gonna see if
yeah,
I
it's
can
a
show my
Scion.
kid.
It's a Scion IQ with an Aston Martin badge on it. It's funny.
Yeah, that's
And also, that was a $45,000 car too.
no.
Because it had Aston Martin on it. That's why. They're very rare to find. They only made them for a couple of years.
Yeah, no, well, like, what? I don't even understand why. Hang on, let me
I don't know either. Like, if they did that later on, like if they did that now, it would make more sense because okay, trying to keep it to yeah, like see, it was funny actually because they put like the hood vents on it too, like a DBS has. It's hilarious.
It's amazing.
You know, I love it. Like,
yeah, that looks like something I would see in my high school parking lot. Where did you like? But it would be the Scion, not the Aston. What?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's straight up a Scion IQ underneath. Like, and that was the Scion IQ came out, and again, it didn't last very long either. It tried to compete with the smart card, and it just didn't because the smart card just dominated the market, sadly.
Yeah, I agree.
But because yeah, it's a better looking smart car, but it was way too expensive.
Yeah. Well, I would never even dream of paying 40 grand for any car. Number one, so. But man,
I mean, yeah, it's just one of those deals. Actually,
for that thing. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, like, oh, it definitely is. Like, and the fact that, and I'm not sure why they did it because, like, now, yes, they may have did it just to be compliant with EU regulations of trying to keep their emissions to a certain point, right? Because like there was a point, and I know actually the American government did this too, of every company has to get their average mile per gallon out of all their vehicles to a certain point. You know, it just was a thing. So yeah, I don't know how Dodge skirted around that. I find that one fascinating. You know, because look at how many Hellcats you see around. Now they're Hellcats dying in 2024, sadly, but
what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, actually, the Hemi is going to be completely out of production in 2024, and it's actually being replaced by an inline six that's turbocharged.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't mind it because, like, okay, you look at the Hemi engine, and other than the Hellcat, the base 5.7 has never really had a proper upgrade. When it came out, it was 345 horsepower. Now it's only 385, and it's been over 50. Yeah, it's been 16 years. Like,
well,
actually, no, it's been close to 20 years. Frick.
Yeah. Wasn't it in like 2001?
2003.
Oh, 2003.
Yeah, 2003. 2003 it came out in the Ram. Then 2005 it extended into the cars. With the Chrysler 300 coming back at that point, as well as the Charger being reintroduced.
So
as well,
are they getting rid of that? Are they ditching the Hemi name for now?
Was that, sir?
Are they like ditching the Hemi name for now? Like, is there no more that straight six?
I don't know if it's a Hemi straight six. It'd be cool if it was, but I don't know if it is.
That would be cool if it was. What would be even cooler though is if it was a disastrous failure, and then 30 years in the future, it would be really hard to find. Yeah, like it would be like a trivia. They made a straight six Hemi, you just can't find them. That would be even cooler.
And actually, Michelle, I'm not sure what you're going with that because Fiat never owned Mini. Unless if you're talking about the Fiat 500, which they actually came out with before the Mini came out.
That was before Mini?
Yeah, the Fiat 500, yeah, it came out in 53 or 54, and I think the Mini was 55. I think I could be wrong on that.
Wow.
I'd have to look into that for sure. Actually, I can do that right now because I've got my computer in front of me.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't paid. I don't know. maybe I should broaden my horizons just a tad bit, because I mean,
Like, okay, yeah, so the Fiat 500 came out in 57. Okay, what about the Mini? Mini Cooper. Once I find Wikipedia scrolling through all this, there we go, Mini Cooper. Oh, not that one. I want the original Mini. There we go. The original Mini came out in 59. There you go.
59.
Yeah, 59. So actually, yeah, the Fiat 500, I was pretty sure it came out before it. I just got my years wrong, that's all. And what's interesting, because like the Fiat 500 is a rear engine rear wheel drive, while the Mini actually was, it wasn't the first front wheel drive, but it pioneered the front wheel drive movement, was the Mini, the original one. Because before that, the only other front wheel drive car that was of any significance was the Accord back in the 30s.
Yeah. Wow. Has there ever been a rear engine front wheel drive car?
I don't believe so, which, I mean, if there was, that's just backwards thinking. Like, why would you do that?
That is awesome. Man.
Because, you know, like, because when I was younger, I thought that the Tucker was, but then I looked it up, just like, no, it's a rear engine rear wheel drive that actually used a helicopter engine for the motor, which is weird, but they're pretty cool. The Tuckers are neat. They really are.
Well, you know what? Maybe that's something I should patent. The whole rear engine front wheel drive.
It won't gain traction. Like, the problem is with that, and I think the reason why nobody has tried to do that is literally you wouldn't have traction. Because look at, actually, the best example of this is Roadkill, when they had the Maserati, which that was a Mazda pickup. It was a 73, if I remember correctly, RPO pickup, which means that it was actually a rotary pickup from the factory, but somebody took the rotary out, and then in the bed, they put an old Tornado transaxle in it with a 455. But when they took weight out of the front end, because I think they moved the fuel cell from the front towards the back, they realized, oh, this thing won't turn at all because there's too much weight on the back. There's nothing on the front. So they actually had to, what they did was they took two poles, they welded it in, and then they started putting weights on it so that they could turn the car. It's hilarious.
That is awesome.
Man, and actually, the Smart Car is under Mercedes branch of vehicles, and the Mini Cooper now is owned by BMW, which they are not related to each other at all.
Man, I forgot that they bought out Mini BMW. BMW owns Rolls Royce too. Yeah, no,
because when Rolls Royce and Bentley separated, you know, Bentley went to Volkswagen and BMW owned Rolls Royce.
Yeah. Which is probably better than Volkswagen owning them. Because I mean,
hey, that W12 is a badass motor though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. So yeah, that
But at least, like, the thing is, I think that I don't know if BMW would have allowed the development of the Continental, or, you know, of like something like the Continental, where Volkswagen just did. They just like, yeah, sure, go ahead, do it. We don't care. You know, they took the because what's interesting, Volkswagen had a concept car that was called the Nardo. It was actually that same W12 that they put in the Continental was in the Nardo, and it was a mid-engine supercar that they were going to build, but then I guess they bought Bugatti and made the Bugatti Veyron at that. Because they realized that, well, okay, we can make a mid-engine supercar and it be a Volkswagen, which I understand why, because nobody would buy it, you know, even though it was an amazing car when they were testing it. But Yeah, completely understandable. Of like, yeah, you could buy a Jetta for, you know, at the time 17 or 18 grand, or you could buy this freaking hypercar for 500 grand. There you go. Yeah, it doesn't really work out. That was kind of the failure with actually like Lexus when they released the LFA.
Yeah.
Which, because when they was released, it's a $375,000 supercar, and also didn't really have the performance to match that price. Although it had the best engine noise of all time, though. I don't care what anybody says. I love me, you know, a big cam and everything like that, and a big block, but the Lexus LFA sounds like a Formula One car going by. It's amazing. Like that exact sound that, you know, very high revving, you know, V10 from a Formula One car. Absolutely, that's what that sounds like.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I agree with that.
Like, I would love to, as a Frankenstein thing, is find one that's wrecked and take that motor out and put it in something stupid. Like, you know, put it in a Fox body or something. And have that sound, like people would be like, what the hell?
Yeah. that would be funny. You know, people would hate me because I put it in a Crown Vic or something stupid. And then I would just be.
I mean, regardless of what you did with that motor, it'd be stupid. It doesn't matter because it was never, ever intended to be like that. You know, it was intended to be in a Lexus hypercar.
Yep.
That's it. Or a supercar. It wasn't a hypercar. It was a supercar. There's so many different variants of, you know, like it goes now sports car, supercar, hypercar, and now there's even mega cars too. It's just stupid.
That can't be. Really?
Yeah. The first ever quote unquote mega car was the Koenigsegg 1:1, which had a power to weight ratio of 1:1. That's why they named it that. The only car in history to do it.
That is insane. Well,
oh yeah,
I remember the Koenigsegg Agera. I think it was what do they call it? RS1 or something like that. I remember seeing it. There was like 25 or 26 of them made for the world, and yeah, I remember seeing that and just I was blown away. The 0 to 60 time in the 1:1. Do you happen to know what that is?
I can look it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Although, and it's interesting because it's not even like their fastest car ever, which is interesting because they've made faster cars than that now.
Well, I think the Tesla Roadster is the one that they're trying to get into the 1 second range, like 1.9. Isn't it like?
Yeah. Oh, Tesla, I know, is always trying to break those records.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So the Koenigsegg 1:1 was 2.9 seconds at the time, but bear in mind that car came out in 2014. Right?
14. Oh, I think.
Yeah, it was quite a few years ago. Like that was the base of like, because that was still kind of on the CCX style, which the CCX debuted in, I think it was like 2003, 2004. And that even goes further back than that to the late 90s. They had other cars as well. Like, and what's interesting about the Koenigsegg is like the guy who owns it, he's not just, hey, the money. He's the brains of the whole thing. He knows his stuff, and like what Koenigsegg has done, like for example, they made a camless engine. It does not have camshafts, period. I'm like, how do you do that? And they did it through like compression with the valves. It's bizarre.
That's insane. I mean, yeah. Christian von Koenigsegg is a genius.
Oh yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
And what's interesting, out of all of the guys that have made supercars and hypercars, he's the only one that wasn't an employee of Ferrari to do it. Like the other two that I'm referring to with that is because, well, Pagani, he worked for Ferrari before he made his company, and oh god, who's the other one? Can't think of the name right now. Escapes me. But regardless, you know.
Got it. It wasn't like a major one, was it? It wasn't like a.
Oh, they make supercars and hypercars. I just can't remember who it was.
Wasn't
What they're called.
one of the founders of Lancia associated with Ferrari at one point?
Well, I know Lancia technically right now is associated with Ferrari, but that's because of their parent company, Fiat, that owns them both.
Oh, right. Fiat owns Ferrari now? Jesus. Oh, yeah. Well, right.
Fiat's owned Ferrari since the 60s. That's what started, well, you remember Ford making the GT40 back in the 60s to beat up on Ferrari?
Mm-hmm.
It was because of that deal. Where, and the movie portrays at least the deal part of that really well. They dramatize quite a bit of what actually happened.
Yeah.
But, Maserati, I don't think Maserati is an older company than Ferrari.
Yeah. I wouldn't know, but I mean, that makes sense now, knowing that. It just never consciously occurred to me that Ferrari was owned by Fiat, but I guess I knew that because they. I mean, there's Ferrari derived engines in the Maserati Quattroporte or Ghibli or whatever the hell it was. I'll put it out there. I am not a fan of Maserati. Just not.
I like classic Maseratis, but the new stuff, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Quattroportes and stuff like that, they look good, but I want nothing to do with that. Like, not that I want to touch any like old Italian supercar anyways. It's just
Right.
like that's a big bag of worms and very costly to maintain.
Yeah.
And it's just like not really my speed. Don't get me wrong, it'd be fun to drive one, but that's about where I'm at.
Well, I would much rather resolder all of the circuitry in the OptiSpark module in my LTD than do anything electrical related with an old Italian anything. So, that's just me. But I mean,
okay. Here's the thing for you, because you could solder the entire electrical system on your LTD. Let's give you a challenge that you probably wouldn't be able to figure out between the two. Either work on a modern Ferrari or try and figure out a 1957 Chevrolet fuel injection system. Bear in mind, that's mechanical injection. That's not electric.
I think I could do it. I mean, Pontiac even came out with the fuel injection on their 50s. What was it? Not their Laurentian, but the Bonnet. Was it the Bonneville?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the Pontiac Bonneville. I guess so. Maybe it was. Yeah. Well, they had the fuel injection in the 50s, 53 or 57 or whatever it was. But yeah, I think I could do it, and I think I would. I would much rather do that than anything Ferrari related.
Fair enough.
Because I feel like I would get a lot more out of that experience. And I'm also not about to go drop tens of thousands of dollars on the proper scan tools to work on those Ferraris.
Okay, what if all of that stuff was provided for you?
I mean, I would actually have to think about it because we're going into this computer world, this computer age, and I think it would be a good thing for me to experience working on the worst of the worst. But
right, well,
I would be much more interested in the Chevy fuel injection.
Oh, for sure. Like, it's funny actually, because Roy, he does this for a living. Like, he works out of his own garage. Like, people will physically drive their cars to his place and get their car worked on, right? Like, it's interesting hanging out there when he hasn't cleared his schedule at all. Because I've just come up there, like, say, hey, by the way, I'm just gonna make a trip, and yeah, his phone like rings more than mine does. And yeah, that one day where I decided, hey, just to come hang out, there was 6 cars that came along to get work on. Like, it's just hilarious. And he hates new stuff. He hates it. Like, his daily driver, just because family car, is a little Toyota Sienna, right?
Nice.
And he hates the thing so much. He's got a cool collection of cars that he loves,
boring.
but that thing, he just like, yeah, I just want to throw this thing out because it's just.
I don't know. Well, why make it a Sienna? I would rather a Chevy Venture.
He, knowing him, he probably got a smoking deal on it because he gets deals on everything. So.
Yeah. Well,
there you go. It was
way to do it.
Actually, one of your guys just said that was the 57 Bonneville Fieldy.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's the FCA. Well, actually, no. Now they're called. Now what are they called? What's FCA called now?
Atlantis.
Oh yeah. Wait, what? No.
Yes. If you're talking about Fiat Chrysler automobiles,
I am.
it's now Stellantis because they merged with who did they merge with? Hang on.
Peugeot.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Peugeot.
Yeah. And yeah, but yeah, so it's sorry, I thought you said Atlantis for a second. My brain, I knew it was Antis something, and then my brain just I didn't quite fully grasp that. But yeah, Stellantis. And yeah, they own Maserati. They own Maserati, and that's kind of why I don't like Maserati. I mean, Fiat. Scotty Kilmer did say it was like the Three Stooges with Fiat, Chrysler, and Peugeot, and I kind of agree with that.
Sure, like the one thing is though that the nice part is under Fiat ownership though of Chrysler, they've let Chrysler do whatever they want, and just like, hey. Yeah. You want to build a 700 horsepower car and sell it for 60 grand? Sure, go for it. Like I love that so much. Hey, you want to build the fastest production car on the planet, being that off the streets it can do a sub 10-second quarter mile? Sure, we'll let you do that.
Run sevens. Go for it.
No. That's not the Demon.
This is the Demon, isn't it?
No, the Demon runs a 965 under optimal conditions. You're thinking about the drag packs. Those are not straight legal.
What am I thinking? I thought it was sevens, running sevens.
No.
Maybe it was running 9.
Bear in mind, anything running like 7 seconds, that's like a tube chassis roll cage in the car.
I was thinking 9s, not 7s.
Yeah, well, even so, I think you're thinking of the drag pack challengers, which are not straight legal at all.
Those aren't straight legal. No, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking 9s though.
Just like the Cobra Jet Mustangs nowadays, and the Copo Camaros too.
Sorry. Yes.
So.
Yeah, man. Camaros, when were they're supposed to be discontinued this coming year, 2022, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
Man, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that either. I don't really think that I care.
They ruined the styling of the Camaro personally.
Yeah. I don't like it.
When the Camaro first came back, that was a great throwback, and that looked great. That way, like that looked like, hey, you see that? That's Camaro, right? Mm-hmm. When you saw that, you knew that. And now, though, they put this because they've also made the Camaro front end like a corporate front end, which I don't agree with. They shouldn't have done that. Yeah. And because like you look at the Blazer, hey, look, that's Camaro front end. You look at literally any of their lineup other than the Silverado, it's like, hey, that's a Camaro front end. Why? It's just, well, and yeah, and I'm just not a big fan of the new ones. Like when they first came out, yeah, I did like those, but not anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think it was around 2013 that I just hated the styling of them. I just hated it. I think it was somewhere around 13 where they got the big old taillights, and maybe it was after 13. I'm trying to think.
Maybe I need to take a look at the back. Yeah, no, 2013 still had the normal taillights of it. You're probably thinking, let me go, I think it was 2016 maybe?
Maybe it was. Well, either way.
Yeah, because when they started to like quote unquote modernize it, can I get a picture of the back end of this freaking thing? Why do they keep showing the front?
Well, because the back end is horrendous.
There we go. Yeah, that's probably the one you don't like.
Yeah. Well.
That's the 2016.
They got the big old Buick Rendezvous taillights on the back of the Camaro, and it's just like, I don't know. it wasn't really my thing. But I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'm not a sports car guy. I wouldn't want to own a sports car because I would just never drive it. I would drive it when I'm really feeling it, and then never again for the next. Well, actually, I wouldn't
Yeah,
drive it enough. Like that's the thing. I would drive a Cadillac Eldorado Baritz every day of the week compared to anything. Like, compared to a Ferrari, like
yeah. Like
it would be.
I think for you, if you could get a sporty feel whilst being really comfortable, I think you'd be all over that. Because
If
the thing
that were
is,
a possibility.
well, I mean, it is. I'm just trying to think. Because okay, no, that doesn't count because it's not really a sporty car anymore. There are some out there that are like that, but I'm just trying to think of what they are.
I mean, the Matadors were
That
kind of those were kind of I
they
mean
weren't sporty. They
no.
were when you think of it, because the thing is, when I say sporty, I
Yeah.
don't think straight line speed. I think of cornering abilities, right?
Yeah, well, I think of
Because
body roll. When I think of cornering, I think that body roll is kind of part of my comfort. That's how
yeah,
it
that's
goes.
fair. I mean, that's the one fun thing about my Mustang because it has really nice steering, but then you lay the door handles down when you go around corners. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
and you would do the same thing except for worse because your car's weight not quite. Well, actually, your caddy is probably close to double of my car.
Wow. Jeez, that would be 2,500 pounds your car weighs. Yeah.
Close. I'm like 2680 ish. So like I said, it's pretty close to double your caddy would be,
Man,
if not double. Well, actually, what did
that's
your
good.
caddy weigh?
I'm gonna, Carl. I'm gonna try to pretend that didn't happen. Just this. We'll try and move past that. But my caddy weighs just over 5,000.
Yeah, this says 5,094 pounds.
Yeah, so just over.
Which yours might weigh a little more than that due to the fact that it's the El Clasico, interiors like a
Maybe.
little fluffier and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the chrome shroud.
Oh exactly, yeah, all the stuff that it
Well,
has,
back
right?
then that was it.
And fender skirts, for example, it all adds up.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So it might be like 51, 52, man, 52.50, maybe.
yeah.
But I
And
mean,
oh, as well, and something though, because you were talking about earlier that it'd be really cool to put like a 9-inch in your car, you know,
mhm.
and if you wanted to, they're a little harder to find, but they do exist. And now these rear ends alone are about $500 before
Yeah,
braking and all that stuff. They
yeah,
actually did make 4-wheel disc brakes on a lot of the full-size Fords back in the
yep,
70s,
yep.
with the
Yeah,
9-inch in them.
man, I didn't even know in the 70s. I
Well,
would have thought 9 inch
that
from like something like an expedition
that
with
could
this.
work too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it that way too. Because actually, well, that wouldn't be Expedition wouldn't have a 9-inch. I think that'd be an 8.8.
Well, they put 8.8s in the Explorers and stuff. I think you could get the Expeditions with the 9 inch. I'm pretty sure you could. Back in like 98, 99. I'm 99% sure.
I thought it would have been that 9.25 rear end thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, Edition rear end. Okay, let's take a look.
I didn't realize just how tired I would be for this live stream. Like we've been going for an hour and 34 minutes, which is good, but like man, my train of thought has fallen off of quite a few cliffs at this point. So I'm just stooping down the lower rungs of thinking every time it falls onto a different track.
Trust me, I've been there. So I mean, and if you need to end this at any point, no worries.
We'll see how long
Well,
I can go on for, but yeah.
that's fair. Well, basically, when this is done, I'm gonna continue watching the new Witcher season. That's on Netflix. So
Right.
I've been
Yeah.
binging it all day. So
Yeah. I gotta. Of all things, I gotta finish watching Suits before December 30th. I mean, hey, I love the show, and I don't know. I like it. It's I mean, yeah, well, there's a little
I
bit
don't know
of.
if I've ever watched it, so there's that.
I don't know if you'd like it. It's. I mean, it's like a legal drama, and some of it's a little far fetched, but I mean, honestly, I give them credibility for their realism, but you know, yeah, they're taking it off Netflix on December 30th. It's been on there for a long time, so
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
yeah.
the thing is, I don't just like, action and stuff like that. Um,
Mhm.
I watch a lot of different stuff. It's just right
Yeah,
now I'm hooked on The Witcher. So
yeah. Oh yeah, I see. So yeah, Land Rover. Ford did own them at one point. Then they separated, but they have done a lot of partnerships. Like with the Evokes, they had Ford 2 liter EcoBoost and stuff. Yeah, that's they did. Ford owned them at one point, I believe, officially as a subsidiary, and then they went off. Now they're with Jaguar. They're with Jaguar, which is with Tata, and now they're Indian. So yeah,
yeah.
that's quite the jump.
Well, just like, and you could actually, if you think about it and look at the lineup, absolutely you can see the influence. Because Ford actually owned Aston Martin for a while too.
They did, yeah. Yes, they did, and I don't know if Ford has done any partnering with Land Rover in the past little while. I know the Evoque had the 2 liters and stuff like that, just little things where they'd put a
Yeah,
Ford engine in or something like that.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're officially like that. It's no different than, say, Ford and Mazda that was in bed with each other forever, and they
Yeah,
still kind of are, but they're just not, they're not actually a partnership. It's just they use the same parts. Because
yeah.
Ford denies it outright. But okay, go look at an EcoBoost motor and go look at the Ford or the Mazda 2.3 turbo. Tell me it's not the exact same motor.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Well,
identical.
yeah. I mean, even just walking around the shop at my school, there's a Ford Focus over there and a Mazda over there, and they both have 2 liter Duratex. But Mazda calls it something Sky Active, whatever, and it's the same exact engine. All you have to do is look at the valve cover. That's as
Yeah,
far
yeah,
down as you can go. But yeah, in some
yeah.
cases, even the engine cover, like the plastic crap they put on it, still looks the same, but just
Yeah.
a different logo.
Oh yeah. And there's been a lot of that throughout the years. Like, and what's interesting because you look at the Aston Martin V12, that
Yeah.
awesome sounding engine. That is literally two 3-liter Duratex bolted together to make a 6-liter V12.
Wow, man, that is crazy.
So that's why if
And
you
now that I
own
think
like
about
a
it,
DB9 with a V12 in it, oh yeah, just instead of ordering parts from Aston, which will cost you a lot more money, look up the part numbers, and the Ford part is much cheaper.
yeah, when your timing chains go kaput, just throw in a Ford timing chain water pump.
Exactly. Like a lot of the parts are Ford. Some of them are Aston. Like the computers
Yeah,
themselves are Aston Martin.
yeah, yeah,
Everything else, though, internally is Ford. It's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
So
mean, they even like, and it's the little things like the door, like switches, like for the windows and locks and stuff.
yeah,
Like,
oh, yeah, it's all Ford. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, from a Ford F-150, or actually, it wasn't a Focus. I don't remember what it was. But either way, same damn thing.
Yeah,
But
hell, I
yeah,
wouldn't be shocked if Focus, window switches were the same as an F-150 for that matter.
yeah,
Would not
well,
shock me.
yeah, well, I possibly later on, but honestly, I owned a Focus. I owned a 108. That's the newest car I've ever owned. 108 Focus. I got it for 1106. It was so 1,106 I got it for from Copart, and
Yeah, I was gonna say that had to be an auction. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
being that weird number like that.
Yep, and it was I don't know why I remember 1106, but I do. And then yeah, no, it was full of hail, but it was a clean title because there were so many cars going through that because of that northeast hailstorm that we had in Calgary, that there was just, I mean, they didn't have time to brand each title; they just sent them through. So they went through with clean titles, and I bought it. with a clean title and riddled in hail damage. And, yeah, I sold that thing for almost $3,000, so that was good.
Nice. Actually, something like speaking of hail damage, something that was really funny. At the time, I think I was like 13,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you remember hearing. Bear in mind, you would have been pretty young at the time. Is there was a massive hailstorm in Cardston. Like, again, I was about 13. This was about 12 years ago, approximately. And it just destroyed a bunch of cars, right? And then there was this one where, okay, this is kind of cool. It was I can't remember what year it was, but it was like an 80, I want to say 84, 85, somewhere in there. Nissan 300 ZX, non-turbo, automatic. It's like, okay, but the thing is just destroyed by hail. You know, like the windows were smashed out of it, everything, right?
Yeah.
And the guy was only asking $400, but I already drove great. It's like, oh
yeah.
man, like I wish I had the money at the time, but I didn't. My dad didn't have the money either to buy it.
Yeah.
Because he would have bought it too.
Yeah.
And so, okay, it's just like, we let that one go, no big deal. Then about a month later, we see it going down the road with trash bags over the windows and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, this is great. Like, I know that car. You know, we talked to the guy at the stoplight. It was fantastic.
That is awesome. Man. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, he was able to knock the guy down to $250 on it, too.
$250. So he paid $150 for that thing.
Yeah, he paid $250. Their guy was asking $400. So it's like, running driving, there's nothing wrong with it other than, okay, the hails are like the windows are all smashed and the bodywork is just destroyed. But hey,
so he knocked him down $150 on that. That is wow. Wow.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how long the guy drove it for or anything like that, but you know, just the fact that he was driving it just like that. He didn't replace any of the glass. Just like, good for you. I love you.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. That's the way to get some good transportation. I mean, that's kind of what I think of when I see people that say, you know, that they got this super great deal on a Pontiac G6 with 200,000, 300,000 clicks. Oh, only paid $4,000 for it. Smoking deal. I look at them and I think, you have no idea what I could have gotten you for $400. And it's just people don't know.
Like,
yeah,
I've bought 2 vehicles at the auction, both vehicles running and driving because of with, you know, tax and everything.
Yeah,
$459 each. You know, the Lumina and my Chevy truck that I had for 2 weeks and flipped it.
Oh yeah, I remember that Chevy truck. That was the headlight restoration video you did.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
One of only 2 videos I did on that truck.
Wow. Well, hey, gave you some content. Yeah, I mean,
and then gave me a quick. I didn't quite double my money. I sold it for $750 2 weeks later.
$750 is wow. It's lower than.
Well, the thing is, it was that. It got down to that cheap because somebody converted it to propane and didn't leave any of the gasoline systems in it.
I forgot.
So that's why.
Yeah.
You know, propane vehicles nobody wants them. This guy happens to own a farm, and hey, look, he's got a propane filling site on his farm. Perfect buyer.
Yeah, that's wow. That's not exactly right. So you bought the Lumina that long ago? Man.
Well, yeah, I've been in Lumina for a few months now.
Man,
it's just I've had one person look at it. That's it. So
maybe I should go out there and look at it. Take it for a test drive. Now I'll offer you 400.
That'd be a cold test drive. But yeah, there's no
heat. No heat.
It has 0 heat. So yeah, it's a cold test drive. It runs and drives great. Other than that, like, literally, the only things that it needs is okay. It might just need a coolant flush. It's possible.
Yeah.
Because those things are notorious for having air in the system to not cause it to have heat. So okay, you flush the cooling system, replace the windshield, and either tighten up or replace the parking brake cable. It'll pass an inspection. I guarantee it.
What's the mileage?
214, I think.
Oh, that's not bad. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not even so much the money thing; it's the space. I have no room.
I understand that. No worries. Like,
I would have
I'll
bought. I
sell
would
it
have bought.
eventually, but
I'm actually. Oh, I'm also thinking about perhaps renting a garage like within my area, within my neighborhood. I'm thinking of seeing if there's someone around here that would just, hey, here's some extra money a month if you just let me have your garage.
yeah, there's a lot of them out there, and typically you can rent them actually cheaper than the storage units. Interesting that way.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm actually thinking I'd go around door to door, like around, like relatively close to me, and just put out a flyer. Even I don't even know what I would do. Just like less than $200 a month. If it's a single car, that's fine. It just has to have locking doors, and I am able to have cars moving in and out. That's all I need. That's all I need. A power door, really. That would be great. But
Yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
all I need.
Actually,
Yeah.
okay, there you go. I was close. The mileage is 211,755. I just looked at my ad, so.
Oh yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
it's a nice car. The only issues that, like, other than the issues that I mentioned that it has, is there's some body damage on it because of, I guess the uncle of, because there was this little girl when we were looking at it at the property chatting with us, and yeah, it's fine, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, is he took a baling fork to it on like a skid steer, and so there's gouges along the side of the body, and there's a hole in the trunklet, not through the second layer, just through the first layer. So
What?
I don't know. He probably got mad at it. Either that or he is drunk. It is, bear in mind, we live out in the country. It's
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
definitely
So
possible.
yeah,
Like,
well,
we drove. It was about 20 minutes from here to go pick it up.
man, what better thing to do than get drunk and not even just drive, but go operate a skid steer and stab your lumina with it. That's a
And
great
actually,
idea.
it wasn't even his. That's the funny part. It was because actually, from what I can figure out, I can't confirm it,
Yeah.
but what we were told, basically, it's a one-owner car because she bought it new, and you can still see the sticker on the trunk lid, and then you look at the history of it, because I did do a history report on it, but
Yeah.
because it's sat for periods, it's just like I don't really say, hey, it's available, because when people see that, they just run away from it because they think that there's something wrong with it. But
Yeah.
really, it just means that, hey, it wasn't driven. And yeah, this woman bought it, drove it, and then she parked it at her son's property when she couldn't drive anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Seems
You're
about
so in the way there, Cat.
right. I got to catch up on this chat here. But, yeah. Hang on a minute. Yeah. Okay, going back up here. How far? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sunfish fish. I don't recognize. That's probably from your end, right?
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
he's from mine. Bryce was too.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, and Michelle. Yeah, the Pontiac and Oldsmobile depends on the ones. I mean, yeah, and like when they're classics, yeah, and Mercury and Plymouth, but like they discontinued them because there was no interest, and honestly, my Oldsmobile Aleros, I mean, hey, I thought they were pretty cool, but nobody else did. Yes.
Well, isn't
But yeah,
the Alero, isn't that the luxury version of the Grand Am?
yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. And you
And
don't see
like
them very often anymore. It's,
no, well, I see them more often.
but
Well,
you live in
uh,
Calgary, so you're gonna see stuff
yeah.
more than I do.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
the obscure stuff when you see it out here, just like, ooh, that's cool. Like,
Wow.
there's
Wow.
somebody in town that has. You would probably dig this just
Yeah.
because it's kind of cool and quirky. Like you
Yeah.
like, I kind of like it too.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a GMC Envoy XUT?
Yeah, isn't that a truck-like thing? Or no,
No,
it's got
what
a
it
convertible.
yes.
Yeah.
The back part is a convertible. So there's
Wow.
one of those in town. And it's just like when I saw it, I'm like, holy crap. I've never seen one of those before because they're a dead giveaway when you see them, just because they have that plastic on the back similar
Yeah.
to like the avalanches. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Who would own that? That is so cool.
yeah. Oh, and you want an '80s Cougar. Now, would you want a four-eye Cougar or would you want the fixed headlight Cougar? That way, the Arrow Cougar, I guess they call it. Because even the Thunderbird, again, same idea too. Because
Yeah,
they did both, and it's really
I
cool.
found a couple of four eye. I think it was a Cougar and a Thunderbird listed for sale on Marketplace. I found an $800. I think it was a Cougar. Yeah, it was a Cougar. It was blue and it was $800 or something like that. And it ran and drove, and I kind of wanted to buy it, but I mean, again, I have nowhere to put it. I don't know what to do with it. I need land. If anyone wants to donate to me, donate some land, a couple of acres, as many acres. Each acre helps. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
hey, I feel that. Don't get me wrong. I have a property that can go store stuff, but I feel
Yeah,
bad storing more than one vehicle there. So
yeah.
he doesn't
I
care.
mean,
I know that. Like that's the fun part about Greg, because I've done
yeah.
so much for him. He doesn't give a crap.
As you should ask Greg how many I can store in that. What he charges. Some every time I
I
come up
know
with.
that for the past, what he charged people was $20 a month to go store a vehicle on property.
Oh wow, that's not bad.
No,
Wow.
it wasn't bad at all. And like the thing is though, that's why like there was a couple of because if you go back far enough on my YouTube channel, you'll find them. Because I actually sold a 53 and a 54 Buick Special.
I remember that.
The the 54 Buick Special actually was owned by the owners of Burger Baron here in town, and they parked their vehicle out there and never paid their rent on it. So Greg got to keep it, because it came up to be like, okay, that car was sitting there for it was like 3 or 4 years, right? So there was about $500 owing on it, and he's just like, you know what? He told them either you come pick up this car in the next week or it's mine, and didn't really reply back to him. So just like, okay, fine, I'll keep it.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of a sweet gig. Huh.
Yeah,
And honestly, yeah, Michelle, I don't know how I feel about the Maverick. Like, honestly, I don't. I'm not. Like, it appeals to a certain market, so I'll leave it alone. I'll respect it, but yeah, I mean, I've never thought of it that way. That's kind of seems true. I mean, the Bronco. I guess I even kind of feel like the Bronco is more beefy than the Maverick, and the Maverick is supposed to be a truck. But
yeah.
yeah,
Well, actually, because the Bronco is on a different chassis, I think,
yeah. Well,
compared to the Maverick.
either
Um,
way, even if it is,
well,
it's
also
just confused that way.
the Maverick is also all-wheel drive, not a 4x4.
Yes, yes, I remember that. Well, they're
Um,
different. They're different, but I mean, I see Michelle's point. I mean,
although like, oh no, I like the thing is with the Maverick though, it was touted to be a cheap mid-sized truck and a
yeah,
proper mid-sized truck, not the crap that's out nowadays.
yeah.
Um, and the problem is, I just saw it. Now I'm assuming it's dealership markup because there was one for sale on Marketplace and it was 45 grand. I'm going, that's not a cheap truck. Like, I remember when you could buy a truck for 20 grand. It was in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's true. My neighbor. Oh, I should mention in the springtime, maybe there'll be something cool coming to the channel. I'll just say there's no point in even keeping the surprise. There's an old. I don't even know what year. It's like maybe a very late '80s or maybe early '90s Ram. It's a D. Is it a D250? I think it is. Or I
Okay,
don't
so
think it's a
3/4 ton.
350. Yeah, I
Well,
don't know if it's 250 or 350. I'm pretty sure it's a 250. and it's I mean the body's a little rough, but it's got a 5.9 Cummins with like 380 on it, and that would be great for my dad. And if my dad doesn't end up buying it, I'll end up buying it because I'm pretty sure that neighbor is just over there. You would have even driven by it unknowingly, probably when you've been in my house. Yeah, I mean he's not going to ask much for it, and he paid just about 20 for that thing back in like whenever that was. So I mean, and it's
Yeah,
a loaded truck, right?
yeah.
Like,
See, those trucks, um, because okay, when they put the Cummins in them, 88 is the year you want for it to be turbocharged, because they didn't always do turbocharged in those Cummins. And then 91 was when they put the intercoolers in them as well. So the 91 to 93s are the coveted ones a little more because they're intercooled.
right?
But
Yeah. Well, I'd have to see what what year it is. I could just go look up the VIN, but no, that guy. I mean, he's a nice guy, and I mean, it served him well. And I get the impression that he's not really in it to make money. I mean, he just he'll just eat. He doesn't really care about the money aspect. So, I mean, that truck would do me a lot of good. I could tow my junk home with it. That would be great.
yeah. And the cool part is you got a 5.9 Cummins. You're not going to break it.
Wow. Challenge accepted. I bet you if I
trust
dumped
me.
a bunch of sand down there and then into the oil, it would break it. I bet
You'd
you.
be surprised. Like even so, you'd be surprised. Like the thing is with those trucks, and what's cool about them, it's all mechanical.
Yeah.
Like it's all mechanical. It's wonderful. And also if you get one like a really nice upgrade, now it's a pricey upgrade on them, but it's so worth it. Unless you can get one like from a junkyard if you find them, is upgraded to the P pumps on them. Oh my god, they're just night and day difference for performance and even economy too.
Right. Yeah. Man. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough about the Cummins and even diesels in general, let alone Cummins. I really have to get more into diesel. So that would be. I almost bought a Mercedes. I think I told you I almost bought a Mercedes. It was like a 250D or 200D or something like that, or
Yeah,
280.
those yeah, and those are fantastic too. I don't
Those are
know
good.
much on those, but I know that that's when Mercedes was actually reliable, and those diesels were
Oh,
incredible.
oh yeah, and I wanted that car so bad. My dad talked me out of buying it, and
Well, you
honestly, I
know,
don't.
my first car, it's kind of funny because I was contemplating it. I'm like, ooh, this might be a basket case though, and that's why I didn't go for it. Uh, it was almost a 2002 Mercedes E-Class all-wheel drive for $500.
Wow.
Almost.
So
I
the
almost bought it. Like I was looking at the ad, I talked to the guy a little bit on it, and I just was mulling it over, and I never did end up looking at it. But
oh man. So are you regretful of that at all, or
really, like, no, I love my Mustang. So
yeah, well, exactly.
don't get me wrong, I would like the all-wheel drive aspect of that car. But that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I remember how I felt, and oh well, I kind of still feel that way about the first Crown Vic I ever had. That was a magical experience. Like that was like my first time having a car that I just, quite frankly, was my first love. I mean, putting it that way, thinking about it now, because that was a 97 Crown Vic base model civilian version with 300,000 clicks on it that are rusty fenders. And I just wanted to keep it forever. And I
Oh,
made part of the deal of selling that car, the fact that I could buy it back, and I still can. I could call them up and buy it back if I wanted to, but I don't think I will do that.
no,
But
it's not worth it.
no, but hey, it would be so cool. Imagine how many views I would get. Probably like 17 or 18. It would be
Yeah,
amazing.
you
that,
know,
would be, that would be amazing. Yeah. I gotta catch up on this chat again, and then I think I'm gonna get out of here. I'm really tired. I am just I didn't expect myself to be this tired. I should do another one of these because like I'm just wow, I can't even keep my thoughts together. But let me think here. Yes, the big Broncos. Okay, going back here to the 74 100 XLT. I almost bought one of those with a blown head gasket, and it was kind of brown colored. Man, that was it was 2-wheel drive, but it was that was a nice one. It had a blown head gasket on the 351. Like, how often does that happen on a 351?
That's rare, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's with you at head gaskets?
Me,
I swear to God, you're always looking at something that has a blown head gasket. I swear to God.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
When? When have I done that?
You dealt with a few head gaskets. Like, I mean, I know you uploaded a video about doing your first head gasket job. Yeah. You replaced, if I'm not mistaken, you did replace the head gaskets on your 351 as well. Yeah. And didn't you do head gaskets on some front wheel drive Chevy? I could be wrong on that, but I thought you did.
Was it mine or was it someone else's?
It may have been somebody else's. I'm not sure, but bear in mind, these are older videos on your channel, so.
Oh, it was a video on the channel.
I believe it was. I could be wrong. It may have been a conversation with us too.
Oh, well, hey, I've got my channel open right here. I may as well take a look. Let me see here. Oh, I don't know. I've done probably 10, and I mean, not all. I didn't do. I maybe did 1 or 2 on my YouTube channel, but.
You know how many I've done?
How many?
0.
And would you like to keep it that way?
Yeah, because I only want to do one if I have to. You know, yeah. I'm not going out like when I see a blown head gasket on a vehicle, though. I'm not going, hey, I could just do the head gaskets and get that good, because if they ran it like, because there's no guarantee that they didn't run it like that for quite a while and warp the head.
That's a good point.
Right?
Honestly,
and it's just like,
if it's something like a 351, I might stay clear, just given the fact that it's so rare. But like if it's something like a Chevy Venture or something common, then yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, don't get me wrong. To replace a head gasket in my motor, it's very, very easy if I needed to do it. But I don't want to. Like,
I do. I'll do it.
It's the original one in that motor. Also, I know for a fact that head and intake probably weigh close to 100 pounds because they're connected to each other. You can't remove them from each other. Mm-hmm. I don't want to carry that. I can barely lift 50 pounds, let alone 100.
Well, like, you know, I'm on the verge of a hernia and on the verge of a herniated disc. I mean, I just lifted a tire the wrong way the other day. I mean, I'm 15 and I'm already showing knee, back, and hernia problems. So I gotta be careful, because I'm gonna be regretting that so badly later.
Yeah, which you should go get that stuff checked out now while you're still growing, because I stopped and my body's just screwed now. You know, my back is done.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, that's. I would like to live past 70. That'd be great. But we'll see. we'll see how that goes.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I appreciate every one of you coming out and tuning into this live stream. I mean, it was a little more slow moving than I was thinking it was going to be, because I like I said, this I don't know, I'm exhausted. It was my last day actually at school today before the winter break, and that's on now. So I'm ready for it, I think. So, well, anyway, there should be some cool things coming over the break. So we'll see. I mean, it's cold, but I'll make it. Anyway, yeah. Thanks, Kat, for joining us. I appreciate that, and hope to do one of these pretty soon, and a little bit more of a plan. But anyway, yeah. All right. I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.